Thank you.
Thank you. I think there was another one in the front.
One last.
Okay.
Thank you. Chris Seeley from the Clinton Climate Initiative. What we've seen so far from a lot of the examples this afternoon were government incentivized programs, whether they're subsidies, incentives, perhaps free money from the government in Hong Kong, dollar for dollar, all of which are good and will result in a lot of progress, but eventually that's not that sustainable. In any of your programs that the government or the public sector is running, what kind of an exit clause do you have? Because inevitably in the future, the markets, the commercial banks, really have to take a hold of this. What kind of involvement do you have in training, educating the commercial banks in order for when your subsidies or your programs finish, the market will be ready to really take this on and move with it?
Wants to answer that? I think it's also not quite true, because some of the developments are neutral for the government. I mean, the money doesn't go out; it comes in as well. But the question is still okay. I don't want to debate that. Does anybody want to answer that? Yes, Klaus.
I think it's a very good question. In Copenhagen, we have the mortgage sector, which are used to giving loans to retrofitting buildings and have done that for 30 and 40 years. So there is a market there. There is a market out there who is working quite well. The banks, it's not the same situation. They don't have any money, not in Denmark at all. So what we are going to do here is to make secure that it could be profitable in the market solution. That's what we're talking about, high energy prices and so on, but also to make a new arrangement with the funds of all kinds. So we're doing that in Denmark on different levels. We have some funds with what we call old money who are interested in that. We have this pensions funds who just want to have a very long investment, return on investment, and that's also quite good if you can make a stable condition around those investments. And I think that's the task for the public sector, to do that and to secure that for the next 10, 20 or 30 years. The regulatory regime will be approximately that. So I think that's the most important thing that we can do from a public sector.
I also think, if I may add a remark from my side, you need a multi-stakeholder environment that is geared towards this development, because otherwise the alternative investment will always be more interesting, because it's quite complicated to do that. And the complexity of that business as compared to other businesses that are much easier and simpler to do and have maybe less risk involved, maybe also less return involved, it has to become equal on an equal basis. And I think the education of the financial sector is also important. And before we take the last question, let me add here that one of the reasons I was chosen as a moderator for this session is the next C40 workshop will be on the 11th and 12th of January, and it will focus on sustainable infrastructure financing. You can find it on the internet under the title Global Energy Basel. It will be in Switzerland, in Basel. So Global Energy Basel, and you will, when you Google that, you will find it right away. And it's focusing on exactly the subject we have been treating in this workshop, but it is for a whole 2 days, and it's a process that is triggered by the C40 in order to have a new focus in the field of finance. Now, I think there's one last question.
Sure, I'm Robert Ellender. I'd like to take the conversation back to Suzuki-san, if I could. First of all, the comments that you made about the consensus building regarding getting the final approval for pushing through the cap and trade in Tokyo, I think that's probably something we all should learn from, and perhaps that's going to be the most important lesson rather than the technicalities. But I do have a small technical question, and that is that and many of us will know that the word on the street is that in China there will be a cap and trade program coming at some point, and it may very well begin with the building sector. So no doubt the people in China are already closely looking at what's happening in Tokyo. My question is this: you're asking the buildings to reduce their consumption or energy and carbon emissions in the first 5 years by 6% against their baseline. But of course this is rather a disincentive for those buildings that have already made themselves efficient. And I can hear my Chinese clients now saying, well, there's going to be a cap and trade coming and we don't want to be efficient. When it comes, we'll wait until it arrives. Did you deal with that problem?
Would you mind summarizing your question?
Sure.
Yes, it's about, you can put it very easy. Someone who has done a good job in the past in a cap and trade system cannot go down anymore and cannot profit from it. How do you solve this problem that people are waiting for a cap and trade scheme in China because they think if we invest now, we will have the short end of the draw,
Okay.
of the straw. If we invest now.
私たちのプログラムにはですね、トップレベル制度というのがありまして、要するにすでに、非常に効率の高いシステム設備を持っているところは、その削減率を半分にするという制度がございますので、それからもう一つ問題はその基準年をどこで取るか、ベースラインをどこで取るかなんですね。でこのベースラインの取り方を2002年から2007年までの間の任意のどこでもいいその3年間で取るというふうにフレキシブルになっている。この2つが、周りに先んじてですね、省エネに取り組んでいるビルにとってメリットになるようにしている仕組みになっています。
In fact, yes, we have a system to answer to those anxieties, shall we say. And what we call it is called the top-level system. And for those buildings that are already equipped with the facilities or the features that enables a very low emission, are incentivized by given only half the percentage of our target percentage to achieve the reduction of CO2 emission. And that's one thing. The second thing is that to understand the reduction level, we have to select the baseline year or base year. And we are setting this baseline rather flexibly, that these entities that are participating in this program can choose from any 3 years between 2002 and 2007 as a base year. And so this flexibility is an incentive for those entities who are willing to take on the challenge of emission reduction from early on.
Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for participating. I think our panel deserves a hand. And before I let you go, at 6 o'clock sharp, because this is a Swiss watch, I would like to check with you whether we achieved the target. I said when we started, everybody has to go out wiser from this room than he came or she came in. So I would like to ask, who thinks that you have learned something that was worthwhile this afternoon? Okay, it's a majority. Thank you very much.
Actually,
and have a nice evening.
I have one announcement to make. Somebody has lost an iPhone. So if you find one, please give it back. Thank you.
Okay, have a nice evening. Thank you.